Chapter 8. The Weight of Truth. Alaric did not look at Rose when he began. He kept his eyes on Darius, posture straight, hands loose at his sides, not defensive, not deferential, just steady, just truthful. It started before she ever ran, he said. Before she ever knew she was being hunted. Darius remained crouched, one knee in the mud, his gaze anchored on the girl kneeling between them. He did not interrupt. I was watching the headmaster, Alaric continued, while you were speaking with the farmer, Ben, the one with the split lip. Darius's eyes flicked once in confirmation. He kept positioning himself like he belonged to the crown, Alaric said. Too close, too familiar, steering the conversation without ever being asked. Rose's fingers curled slightly into the mud. She did not lift her head. I thought it was nerves at first, Alaric went on. A guilty man afraid his secrets were about to surface. He shook his head once. But he wasn't frightened. He was waiting. Something tightened behind Darius's eyes. And Kyle, Alaric added. Kyle kept looking back at the orphanage. Not like a man checking for danger. His voice hardened. Like a man checking a door he'd left unlocked. A ripple passed through the nearby soldiers. Rose's breath hitched. She pressed her palms harder into the earth, grounding herself. I didn't have proof, Alaric said. Not then, but I heard fragments. Darius finally shifted his gaze from Rose to him. Fragments of what? He asked quietly. Alaric exhaled through his nose. The headmaster didn't know I was within earshot. He was speaking low, careful, but not careful enough. He paused. Then, deliberately, one phrase at a time. The girl. A beat. Eyes change color. Another. Barefoot. His mouth tightened. Been strange since a baby. And finally, quiet, final. It's time. The camp went still, not dramatically, not theatrically, in the way men go still when they realize a crime has already begun. Rose's shoulders drew inward. Her heartbeat spiked so hard she felt lightheaded. She had heard those words before, not all at once, but always in whispers, always behind doors. And you followed, Darius said. Yes, Alaric replied. Because that wasn't superstition. That was targeting. He hesitated, then added with deliberate honesty, Kyle didn't give an order in front of me. He didn't say a single word that could damn him. Rose swallowed. But his body language changed, Alaric continued. He went still. Then alert, then decisive, his jaw set. So I stopped searching for ruins and followed them instead. Darius's gaze never left his face, and that led you to her. Yes. Alaric gestured slightly toward Rose, not to expose her, but to place her in the story where she already was. I found her in the northeast pines. Two men were closing in on her, quietly, trained, moving, like they didn't want witnesses. Darius's jaw flexed. They were carrying restraints, Alaric added flatly. Something ugly passed through the circle of soldiers. I killed one, Alaric said. The other ran. Rose's breath went shallow. Not a flinch, not a jolt, just a deeper brace, like her body anchoring itself against the memory of how quickly the forest had turned into steel. I didn't know who she was yet, Alaric continued. Only that she was exhausted, unarmed, and being hunted like an animal. He paused, then said the words that mattered most. She wasn't a quarry, Captain. She was a victim. Silence held. Heavy. Sacred. Rose stayed on her knees, mud on her hands, heart stuttering in her chest. For the first time in her life, men with real power were not deciding her fate without her. They were building a case around her. Darius's gaze dropped back to her, not curious, not cold, not afraid, grim, measured, human. He looked at the ledger still open in his hand, then at the soldiers ringed loosely around them, then back at Rose, and something in his posture shifted, not into softness, into responsibility. You are not a suspect, Darius said quietly. Rose's breath caught. You are a witness, he continued. And you are a victim of a crime committed under Crown territory. Her throat tightened. I will not send you back into a world that already tried to sell you, he said. Her breath broke. Not into a sob, into something smaller, grateful, shattered. Her shoulders shook once, and her lips moved without sound. Thank you. Not to Darius. To the man who had driven his sword into the earth for children he'd never met. Alaric saw it. His jaw tightened. He didn't move, but something in him settled. Darius closed the ledger, slowly, deliberately. The camp felt the shift immediately, like weather changing. The headmaster of Serenvale, Darius said quietly. is hereby accused of crimes against children under Crown protection. A sharp intake of breath rippled through the circle. He will be taken into custody, Darius continued, and held for formal inquiry until the king himself rules on his fate. Rose's breath stuttered. Not fear, hope, trying to exist without getting punished for it. Darius turned to one of his lieutenants. You will ride for Serenvale immediately, he ordered. You will remove every child from that orphanage before nightfall. Yes, Captain. They are to be placed in temporary sanctuary housing under Crown oversight. Darius went on. Fed, washed, guarded, no contact with the headmaster or his staff. Rose's vision blurred. Her hands trembled. They will not be sent back, Darius said. You have my word. Something inside Rose gave way. Not loudly, not all at once, just enough for her weight to sag forward an inch, elbows trembling as she fought to stay upright. Alive. The mud beneath her palms felt real. The earth beneath the mud felt realer, and it hummed. Stronger now. Closer. The phoenix charm pulsed once against her ribs. Hot, then again. She pressed her hand harder into the mud, grounding, hiding it. Whatever it wasn't a threat. It wasn't a voice. It was presence. Ancient, patient, waiting. No one noticed. Only her, and she said nothing. Because names could get people hurt. Because power could get people caged. Because she had survived by staying unreadable. Her breath hitched. And this time it wasn't from fear. Thank you, she whispered. Not to Darius. To the man who had kept his promise long enough for her to believe it had weight. Alaric didn't answer out loud, but his posture stayed iron. When the tension finally shifted, it did not break. It settled. Darius crouched again. Not too close, not too fast, like a man who understood frightened creatures. You're safe here, he said quietly. Rose didn't look up. Not because she didn't believe him. Because she didn't know how to be seen yet. Darius straightened and turned to Alaric. You did the right thing, he said simply. Then after a pause, she can't be sent back into the world like this. Alaric nodded once. Darius looked back at Rose. You don't have to give us your name, he said. Not yet. A beat. For now, he added gently, you'll be called Traveler. Something in Rose's chest loosened, just a fraction. Darius gestured to one of the soldiers. Bring a blanket. A bedroll, food, water. He looked back at her. You're not a prisoner, he said. You're a guest under my protection. Rose's lips parted. Nothing came out, but her breath hitched. And this time, it wasn't from fear.